Today in our /Nuclear Revenge. Grandpa gave up what time he had left for revenge on my behalf. Filter at the end. This is a throwaway account for obvious reasons. This story has a few references to some triggering things just fine. Now I've been debating over posting this or not, but have finally decided I will. This is my grandpa's nuclear revenge on my behalf. So I guess let's begin. It's going to be long, sorry. I grew up dealing with a lot of mental health issues, as my mother is a drug addict and my father liked to ignore my existence as in the result of a one-night stand while he was married. So needless to say, his wife hated me and their children treated me horribly as well. The only good people I had in my life was my grandma and grandpa on my father's side. I loved them and spent a lot of time at my grandpa's business. I'll explain that a little later. Now, at 14, everything went further downhill. I won't go into details, but my mother almost passed away, and I met a man, let's name him Goat E. Looked like one. Long story short, Goat was 25 at the beginning and emotionally, physically, and sexually abused me, while I was under the precept that I loved him, and it was okay. He pushed me away from my grandparents and isolated me for 2 years until a friend helped me get out of it. During this next year, Goat stalked me, threatened me, and had me absolutely terrified. I was afraid of going to the police as I didn't want to bring harsh light to my grandpa's business, and because I was afraid. I was staying at my friend's house for a while during this time, as my panic attacks and what I now know is post was horrible, and I hated to be alone. During this time, my grandmother passed away, one of the only lights in my life left. So I became worse. I began drinking and going to parties and trying to forget my life. Right before my 18th birthday, Goat made a real-life appearance again. On my way back from a big party, he jumped me, beat me black and blue, and almost killed me. I was found and taken to hospital, where they began treating me, and as I was underage, they asked me to call an adult in my life that they could talk to. I tried to call my father, but he didn't pick up. Knowing my mother wasn't going to help, I had to call my grandfather. He was at the hospital in lightning speed, and for the first time in my life I watched this man that had built his own empire really break down. Even at my grandma's funeral, he didn't cry. I spent 2 months in hospital, with police questioning me and my grandpa by my side every day. During this time, he met my friend who helped me out of it all at the beginning and became very close to him. My grandfather helped me get on my feet for a whole year, until one day he had a large family gathering and socialized the whole time, taking me with him. That night I will never forget. We went to get ice cream, and then he just hugged me for a very long time, holding me tight and reassuring me everything would be okay. The next day, my grandpa exacted his revenge. Now, my grandpa was the owner of a well-off law firm that also had private detectives in a smaller office in his building. He apparently tracked down Goat and went about his revenge. My grandpa shot Goat 3 times in the stomach and once in the chest. Goat passed away in the hospital later that day, while my grandpa was taken in and soon put in jail for manslaughter, which he pleaded guilty to. I never got the chance to visit my grandpa in jail, as he passed away soon after in jail from complications. 1 week after my grandpa's death, I got a call from his solicitor, and he asked me to go in. I was met with a lengthy letter from my grandpa, which was nothing but loving, and showed that he had found out he had terminal lung cancer and would live much longer. But he couldn't happily live alone in this world without Goat being gone too. My grandpa left almost everything to me. At 20, I would inherit the law firm and could do as I pleased with it, and I inherited 95% of his savings, his house he lived in with grandma, and his other assets. In case anyone's interested, I turned 21 last week. I'm currently working at the law firm. My grandpa's secretary, now the CEO, has taken over the important things in the building and makes most of the decisions. I spent half the money I was given in locked saving funds for all of the younger family members to go to college when it's time. I cut all contact off with my father, who tried to steal money from me during the death arrangements of Grandpa. My friend mentioned earlier in the story is now my fiancé, and we are getting married next summer. I'm still suffering from pst and depression, but it's getting better every day. I'm in therapy for my pst treatment. I got a tattoo for my grandpa and grandma on my back of 2 lions protecting a cub. I also opened up a safe house for anyone going through abuse of any kind. No matter the race, gender, or age, I'm trying to help anyone I can in that situation. Besides, for what I've put away for later in life, I'm also thinking of opening up the bakery I always wanted and employing the people that need the job and help the most, but am unsure at the moment about that. My grandpa and grandma was a godsend, and to this day I miss them greatly, but I know I couldn't have changed the stubborn old man's mind even if I tried. I'm sorry this is long. I tried to make it shorter. Colder, my grandfather killed my abuser and left everything the law did take to me. Edit. I wrote a part wrong. Oops. My mother didn't die. She almost did. Edit part 2. Thank you so much for the gold, kind stranger. Also, thank you to all these comments. It's so uplifting and entertaining to hear people talk so highly of my grandpa. Thank you, everyone, for being so wholesome and amazing. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, smash the bell, and whatever else our YouTube overlords require nowadays.